What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the My Player Career Mode. This one is episode number 73 coming at you, and hopefully this goes out as soon as possible. I don't think we'll get it out for the 4 p.m. deadline that I like to set, but hopefully it's around that time as well. And to show my appreciation for all of the support recently, if you guys get this video to 100 likes, I will upload another episode of the My Player Career Mode tomorrow for you all. So yeah, hopefully that video will get 100 likes. Then you can have another episode tomorrow, hopefully anyways, but that's going to be the aim. So, can you do it, guys? If you do, as I said, you get another rep, and it will be quicker than usual. But regardless, let's get into today's episode. So, the draw for the Champions League then is on your screen, as you can see. Some interesting draws actually in there. Juve got Barca, there's City against PSG, there is Bayern against Spurs, and actually for Man United and Ben, they've got Benfica. But I'm also intrigued to see as well, Atletico against Liverpool. That's an interesting one as well. So there's a few really good draws in the Champions League, and it's going to be a nice kind of round of games, I would say. But the first game comes at you, and it is Manchester United taking on the club that first gave Ben his professional contract in world football in the form of Wolverhampton Wanderers. So this one's kind of a grudge match, I guess. You just imagine if Wolves had kept hold of him and put their faith in him, imagine what kind of player they could have had. Now he's playing his trade at Man United, and he's one of the world's best footballers at the moment. So 20th place Wolves against 3rd place Manchester United at Old Trafford. It doesn't really have like much relevance until I guess he goes over to Wolves to play there. Is it the Molineux they play at? I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, and I probably made myself look silly, but I'm pretty sure it's Molineux. I made myself look silly if I've got it wrong, but once he goes to play over there in the next game in the Premier League, that's where most of the stick and the kind of banter will come from, I guess you could say. Now, it doesn't really matter because he's at Old Trafford, so there's only going to be a selection of Wolves fans here. And it's actually weird to see as well, Ruben Neves still at the club. He was there when Ben was there as well. But the first chance, literally 3 minutes in, it just had to fall to that man, didn't it? Ben Wood on the ball, edge of the area, curls it in with the left foot, makes the score 1-0. Manchester United lead inside 5 minutes. He runs over, kicks the corner flag. Do you know what he should have done? Maybe we'll see this from him in the actual game when we go over to Wolves. But what he should have done was run the length of the pitch, shushing, and then run over to the Wolves fans and gone with their "Can you hear me" celebration. That would have been, I guess, a really, not necessarily a bad way to celebrate, but he didn't really get a chance, did he, at Wolves? You know, he was sent out on loan to Ipswich. To be fair, he did ask to do that because he wasn't getting played. So I can kind of see why he'd be a bit frustrated. But I just think for comedic senses, it would have been funny if he'd have done that in this game. So there's still time. He might do it in the Molineux instead, but we'll see anyways, guys. The first goal already in the back of the net, and inside 10 minutes, they create another chance. This time, it fell the way of his striking position, and it's a nice ball through from Ben. Unfortunately, though, James Wilson couldn't score. He hit it straight at the goalkeeper. And as we move into the last 9 minutes of this one here, it was one of those games that United just dominated. Didn't allow Wolves to have any chances whatsoever. But then after that, kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit. The last chance here from Ben, shot in. It's an easy save for the keeper to make the rebound straight back to Lukaku, who just doesn't do anything with it. And that's been a recurring theme so far for Romelu. He's not really done too much in the way of scoring recently, which is a bit disappointing, but he hasn't really needed to, in all fairness. You know, you've got Anthony Martial popping up with the goals. You've got Ben, of course, scoring here today to get the winner. And when we've needed Martins as well, he's come up clutch as well. So, in regards to that, it is not really like we're lacking goals because they've still got them from Martial. We've still got them from Martins. We've still got them from Ben. But we definitely need Lukaku to start scoring a few more here and there. And a 1-0 victory gets United 3 points on the board. And in terms of title race, they're still third. So, that's actually very, very big. Spurs winning 3-1 against Brighton keeps them ahead of them. And, of course, Chelsea hadn't played at this stage on the Monday, so we won't know exactly how it fares with their game just yet. But at the time, it was still United in 3rd place, which is kind of disappointing. But it's very close, so literally one game could change the entirety of that top 3. So we'll just keep moving forward and hopefully picking up points as we go along. The next game coming at Vicarage Road, Watford the opponents. And this one, the side is actually better. Matic and Herrera at the base. Of course, Martins, Martial, and Ben, and then it's, I think it was Romelu Lukaku. I know it was Milik actually started up top for this one, which says a lot about Romelu's future when you consider the fact that he's had James Wilson starting over him, and now he's got Milik starting over him as well. So maybe he won't be a United player for much longer here, Romelu Lukaku, because he isn't really getting the game time that he probably requires. In the top 4, City and Arsenal chasing that last the last Champions League spot. I was going to say automatic promotion because I've just recently done a Road to Glory episode of our career mode. If you haven't checked it out, it's on the channel. Little pluggy, cheeky plug there if you want to check it out. It's with Crew Alexandra, and we're in League One chasing the championship, basically. So if you want to check it out, it is on the channel, and it's available to be watched right now. There's 20 episodes to catch up on if you've missed them. So you've got a nice little bit of a binge watch, I guess you could say. But into the game we go, and I checked out the Watford team because I accidentally skipped through. They've got a very decent side. They've got Moussa Dembele, Renato Sanchez in the team. They've got a very, 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 kind of, I would say, at least a top 8, maybe top 10 side here, Watford. So this one could be a struggle, but when Anthony Martial gave Man United the lead inside the first kind of 10 minutes of the game, again, it's another fast start from Manchester United, and this one is a very nicely worked goal indeed. Martins towards the back post, completely unmarked, Anthony Martial. There he is, popping up, right-footed finish, keeper can't get near it, and it's a decent opening kind of few minutes. But I have to say, as I said, Lafont in goal as well. They've got a very good squad here, Watford, and I'm surprised to see the fact that they allowed us to score inside the first kind of 5 minutes of the game. And actually, that's Martial's 4th league goal of the season so far. So not really scoring when it comes to league goals, but he has scored a fair few in other competitions and stuff when we needed him to. So not too bad. And then 11 minutes in, Watford sleeping at the back. Edevs Balanta trying to close him down. It's a poor cross, actually, from Ben in the end. But what a strike from Matic. And he was inches away from making that too. If that had gone in, that would have taken goal of the season so far, because that was an unbelievable volley. Lafont just thinks it's going over. But as I said, a few inches lower, and that was in the back of the net. So slightly disappointed there that finish wasn't in the back of the net, because that would have been some goal. And if we move into the second half again, very similar to the first game where we took on Watford. They dominated the game, United, at Vicarage Road. Didn't really allow too many chances. They did get one late on. Andres Milik with it. He gets on the end of a cross, and he heads his effort goalwards. But unfortunately, the keeper makes the save with 13 minutes to go. From the corner, it's eventually whipped in, cleared away, and we had 5 minutes to go. And then Watford created a chance. Ben giving the ball away, not somewhere where he wanted to. Richarlison through with a left-footed cross towards Balanta at the back post. And he should score. He should definitely 100% score there. No idea how on earth he hasn't scored that. And Watford should be heading away with a point from this game. So disappointing for them, the finish. And you can see it really was disappointing. I mean, as I said, he just should score. There's no excuses about that. And Lucas Vazquez came off the bench for Watford, but couldn't change the game for them. So the 3 points heading the way of Manchester United from Vicarage Road as well. The away support happy with their outing there. Mourinho shaking the Watford manager's hand. But all in all, it was a slightly disappointing game because United, they did allow one chance, and I wasn't really happy with that. Ben never really got going in the game with a 6.8 match rating. He's going to have these games every now and then where he struggles to really get himself going, but that is the rest of the results. Again, we don't know the exact scores of Spurs or Chelsea because they weren't playing on the Saturday. They were playing on the Sunday instead. So, again, we won't actually know. But Arsenal drawing and Manchester City drawing makes that 4th place spot just a little bit more interesting, I guess you could say. And actually, they must have played before that because that wasn't a 19 games. So maybe they played on the Friday. But yeah, as we move into the next game, it is Stoke City now away from home. We're just going through the games thick and fast. We want to get out of these ones and into some Champions League action as soon as possible. And always, guys, as I said earlier, if this video hits 100 likes, we will upload another episode of the My Player Career Mode tomorrow at 4. And I will make sure there's 5 games within that episode. So if you want to see that, smash that like button down below as we get into this game here. And if you haven't already as well, because obviously I usually do this at the end, but I'm going to decide to do it now instead, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. And if you never want to miss an upload, make sure you click the little notification bell next to the subscribe button. You will always be notified of when a video goes live. It's usually 4 p.m, but sometimes I can miss the deadline, especially with the job that I do. It's kind of hard, but still. Getting into game now, away from that stuff. They've got a decent side, Stoke. We've seen it before. They've got Pulisic, of course. We know about the Stoke City team. We don't need to sit here and bang on about it. But the Jota is in the side for Manchester United today, replacing Anthony Martial on the left wing. Not really sure why that was, whether or not there was an injury picked up or maybe a slight knock, and that's why he was on the bench. But regardless, moving into the first chance, Stoke City, 30 minutes in, gave the ball away. It found its way to Ben. Ben on the edge of the area, looks for the strike. It's well blocked and sent out for a corner kick. And in the end, corner's going to be whipped in towards the middle of the box, and you're going to see a completely free Rafael Varane gets his free header, but unfortunately sends it straight at Jack Butland. Very disappointing finish in what I thought was going to be 1-0. But again, Ben committing his man there, gets past him as well, continues his run. A little bit fortunate with the defensive block made there as it falls straight to his teammate, and that one is a sensational save from Jack Butland. One-handed, keeps the score at 0-0, but from the corner, it's whipped in. You can't give Rafael Varane 2 attempts at a header because he will score on the second one. They should have learnt their lesson after the first one. They didn't. And it was the former Real Madrid man sending United in front in the game here at the Stoke City FC Stadium. But to be honest, again, I was surprised that Stoke didn't learn from their first lesson. They allowed Varane too much time in the box again. This one is a much better header as well. Although Butland made a great save just before that to keep us out, he couldn't do it on that occasion there. Marquinhos very disappointed with his side, but, you know, I look at this and just think to myself that it's one of those games where Stoke might struggle. But then again, as I say that, Stoke, they will cause an upset. And 55 minutes in, we know that United aren't great defensively sometimes when they have the lead at 1-0. Pulisic commits his man, beats him as well, whips across towards the middle. There is Matic with the clearance, doesn't clear it completely away. And Mbula back into the mixer. And there is Stoke's equaliser. Sensational. Sensational strike is all I'm going to say. I can't really complain at that because, to be honest, United's poor defending mixed with Stoke's good play. Pulisic is an original cross. It's well dealt with. But then this is just a brilliant finish. On the half volley, curls it past David De Gea, says thank you very much. That's 1-1. Stoke back in this game at home. And that gave them momentum. And it also gave the fans a little bit of confidence as well. So, moving forward, United, who hadn't had a great second half, might see themselves slip in this game as Paul Pogba comes off the bench for Regan Poole. Again, why is Paul Pogba on the bench? I do not know. 12 minutes to go now. Ben finding his teammate Lukaku, back to Ben. Ben back to Romelu Lukaku, surely. He can't even hit the target. And that's, again, Romelu Lukaku. I know he's frustrated with himself, but now he's getting to the point where he's not even hitting the target anymore. He's not even testing the goalkeeper. He's just completely missing the goal. So, Mourinho, again, very, very frustrated with the big Belgian up front. But 84 minutes in, Ben on the ball. This is where I think he needs a little bit better, composure. He does the hard work, gets him behind, but his cross is so poor. He hits it straight to Butland. Luckily, though, Stoke are the makers of their own grave, and they will have to lie in it because they gave the ball away. Butland trying to restart the play way too quickly, gives it to his centre-back. It's won back by Ben, who could have tried to shoot himself, but to his credit, he lays the ball off to Anthony Martial. And again, it's a very, very sloppy goal from Stoke because, one, they gave the ball away, but two, Jack Butland gets a massive hand on this and could have quite easily saved this for Anthony Martial. Luckily, it doesn't, and luckily the substitution comes on to give us the lead in this game. But you look at this goal and just think there's so much wrong with it. Lukaku laying it off. There is where Ben could have shot. Instead, he chooses to just lay it to Anthony Martial. And as I said, Butland makes the save, but he can't quite keep it out. It's not even his hand, it's his kneecap that actually gets to touching it there. But for Stoke, it was heartbreak. For United, it was jubilation. But then again, I did kind of feel bad for Stoke because, to their credit, they played a lot better in this second half than United did. So they just really kind of didn't have enough in their tank in the end to stay to the 90 minutes to keep the point there. But regardless, it was a lovely goal for them to get them back on level terms. And I'm sure that this will not be the final time that we struggle against Stoke. They're a very good side. They have a very good lineup of players. And they're very much like the Watford team. That on their given day, if they play well, they will take points away from you. So credit to them, but they weren't quite good enough on the day. Ben getting that goal that mattered there with Anthony Martial with the finish. Varane with the man of the match performance for Manchester United, though. So to be expected, he scored and he had a good kind of first half until the second. Chelsea winning again, though. Spurs winning again, though. It's like matching results right now, which means, of course, stays as it is regarding that whole situation at the top for the title. So we'll just have to see what's going to happen later on down the line. We've got 18 league games to go now. We're 20 league games in. I'm going to leave a poll on the top right-hand side of this video, and I want you guys to vote. At the end of the 38 league games, who do you think is going to be Premier League champions? As we sim a game against Burnley, because Ben was not picked for it, because of the fact there was a semi-final coming up against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. It was a 3-1 win for United, which means they moved through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. And I think as well, Ben just picked up a Player of the Month there, the award, but I forgot to show it, my bad. But there is a poll, hopefully a poll at the top right side of this video. As I said, I want you guys to cast your votes. Who do you think will be Premier League champions at the end of this season in this series? Will it be Ben and Manchester United? Will we see Chelsea and Eden Hazard lifting the trophy? Or are we going to see Ben's former club in the form of Spurs getting another Premier League title? Cast your vote top right. I'm just intrigued to see what you guys think. Of course, it doesn't matter if you don't vote because it doesn't really have an implication on the series. I just want to see what you guys are thinking. Have you got confidence in the Ben Wood era of Manchester United. That's my kind of thing. But player debut, Benjamin Mendy has just signed for £58.5 million to Manchester United, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I was surprised. I mean, it is what it is. I don't quite know what on earth has happened. Why are we signing Benjamin Mendy for £58.5 million when we're not even playing Paul Pogba in the side, Romelu Lukaku in the side, and a few other players in the side? It's just weird. It really is weird. But 25 minutes into this game in the Carabao Cup against Chelsea, I could see this one being a 0-0 draw, to be fair. But the thing that United have got going for them is that they're very, very quick going forward. And I think for Chelsea, they're going to struggle in order to kind of keep the Man United attacks out. But that's going to be kind of negated by the fact that, Chelsea going forward are just as good. So again, United's defence isn't the most brilliant we've seen so far. And although they've done pretty well at holding out in 1-0 leads, overall, it's kind of a situation which I think to myself, sometimes if we allowed teams like Stoke to score against us, then what hope have we got against Eden Hazard and Morata? But the game started off, Man United with 2 chances. Both of them were not real, finishes, I guess you could say. But then this happened. 42 minutes in. Again, we want to talk about luck. We've had a little bit of it in today's episode. Jack Butland last time out for Stoke. Again, stat man, Anthony Martial. Butland got a knee to it. This time around, Courtois gets a save on this one. So once again, if the keeper had been slightly better positioned maybe, or a stronger hand, that wouldn't have gone in and it would have still been 0-0. But you can't really say that because, again, it's great play from Ben to set up that man on your screen, the Frenchman. And Anthony Martial has done it yet again for Manchester United. He had an episode previously where he just couldn't stop scoring, and it looks like he's had the same kind of episode today. And that was a very disappointing first half from Chelsea. They didn't really threaten. I think they personally came here thinking that they were just going to get a 0-0 draw, take it back to Stamford Bridge, and win the game there to go through. But now it means they've got to attack, and the attack they did. 5 minutes from time, Alvaro Morata through on goal, lovely little ball roll, gets him inside. But you got to do better than that to beat David De Gea in between the Manchester United sticks. And it was cleared away. And that was the end of the game. A 1-0 victory for Manchester United. Of course, there's 2 legs to this Carabao Cup semi-final. And away goals count after extra time. In which case, guys, as it stands, nothing set in stone yet. I expected Chelsea to come here and just basically take the 0-0 draw. And of course, when it happened and they conceded, they had to go forward. And it quite easily could have been 1-1. But when we go to Stamford Bridge and see how the second leg is going to fare, that, of course, coming next episode, we will know whether or not Ben and Manchester United have made it through to a Carabao Cup final. But that's it for today's episode. If you did enjoy it, a like would be greatly appreciated. As always, thank you so much for your incredible support. It is so close at the top of the table, guys. As I said, if this video hits 100 likes, I will upload another episode of the My Player Career Mode tomorrow at 4 PM for you all to enjoy. 18 league games to go. Cast your vote top right. Who's going to win? And hopefully I'll see you all back here again for another episode of the My Player Career Mode, 4 PM UK time tomorrow. Hit the notification bell, never miss an upload. Catch you all then. Adios.